Carly Wilson, number 2, controlling the point, swings it over to Jerry McCorkill. She gets into the lane, she gets fouled, and she'll go to the free throw line.
You know, this Idaho team is a team that, if they get hot, watch out. They're explosive offensively, they spread you out, they shoot early, and they rely on big runs.
Yeah, that's a good point. First free throw for McCorkill is up and good. She'll have one more. Early action, Southern Utah and Idaho. The Vandals coming from Moscow, as we're all squared at 2 apiece. Both teams perfect from the free throw line. Cardenas working around the point. Finds Richardson. Richardson's going to crank a long shot from the right wing. I believe just inside the three-point line. They'll count it at 2. So both teams firing early on. Richardson all 4 points for the Southern Utah Thunderbirds. Idaho back on offense. Nice give and go under on the free throw on the baseline. Kick it back over to Brooke Riley, who cranks a 3 and she hits. And Idaho has their first lead of the game at 5-4.
You know, this Idaho team just has a lot of weapons, Scott. And like I said, they do spread you out. They look for that open player. However, it's about positioning, and they do a good job spacing you out and drawing in the defender to leave those open gaps.
Reed straightaway 3, can't get it to fall, fight for the rebound. Several players down on the court, but it's Carly Wilson who comes out of the scrum. Long three-point shot from the left wing, no good. Fight for a rebound down underneath, and it's brought down by Idaho. Shot is up and good, and Brooke Riley gives Idaho an early 7-4 lead.
I mean, Brooke Riley just has so much athleticism, averaging 7.5 points, 6.4 boards, so she's giving them really good minutes as a junior.
Cardenas slowing things down a little bit here for Southern Utah. Over to Dari Franson, down low, and the ball's going to be passed out of bounds on a turnover as Bree Reed unable to corral that pass, and Southern Utah turns it over. Idaho with an early lead, looking to push it. Carly Wilson, only 5'4" from Lewiston, Idaho, has dished out a bunch of assists, and she scored a career-high 19 against Southern Utah earlier this year. She's going to pull back. She's going to crank the 3 off the back iron. No good. Jamie Smith is there for the rebound. Smith running point herself. She looks at crossing over to Cardenas. Cardenas has some room, but she's not going to take the 3. Back over to Bree Reed. Reed into the lane. He's going to put the shot up off the glass. Can't get it to fall. Offensive rebound, though, for Southern Utah is missed, and Idaho has it going the other way. Good opportunity for a shot for Southern Utah. Just couldn't get the shots to fall. Into the lane for Idaho. Back up top. Long shot for
And notice that spacing on the floor.
Riley. Good 3.
Notice the spacing on the floor, and if they get hot, watch out. Just like I said, I mean, they're a tough team to contain when you have that many weapons. I think the challenge for this Idaho team has been is to match their defensive tenacity with their offense, because at times they are more offensive-minded, and they come out on their heels on the defensive end, and that's when it comes a game of runs, and they dig themselves into holes. But so far, we've seen a fairly aggressive Idaho team.
10-4 our lead. Southern Utah trailing Idaho. The Vandals have jumped out to a quick lead in this ball game after another turnover by Southern Utah. Here comes Idaho again aggressively into the paint. Cross-course pass over to Carly Wilson. Wilson swinging it back over to number 21, Ferenz. Ferenz, who's kept scoreless in this ball game, draws the foul, and Idaho will hold on to possession. Ferenz, tremendous player in this league. She scored 41 points earlier in this year, and everybody remembers the run she went on last year in the Big Sky Conference tournament, where she was named tournament MVP.
Yes,
and she gets things going with a quick pass and lays it up and in, giving Idaho a 12-4 lead.
She is an incredible, complete player. You know, she led the tournament with 67 points. She hit 16 threes. She played pretty amazing last year and was a huge part of why Idaho won the whole tournament.
Here we go, Richardson on the right wing trying to drive, has the ball knocked out of her hands. Southern Utah is able to hold on to possession. Cardenas into the lane. She dribbles, can't find anybody, and is forced to kick it back out to try to get something going. Long three-point shot by Cardenas, missed badly, and it was a shot clock violation anyway, and so Idaho holds on.
Should have counted that down. That was a good defensive effort by Idaho as they forced Southern Utah to throw something up at the end.
So here we go, Carly Wilson, picked up by Cardenas. fun matchup between these two, getting after it. Here we go to McCorkle, back to Wilson, cranks the three and hits the three. And Idaho out to a double-digit lead, 15-4 early on in this one.
And McCorkle doing a good job feeling that pressure and kicking it back out. That's a rarity with a girl underneath, a big girl underneath, to be able to find their guard, and something that Idaho does very well.
Jessica Richardson answers with a three of her own for Southern Utah to cut that lead down to 8, 15-7. Baseline three, wide open for Idaho. And Brooke Riley's gonna hit that most times. You leave her that wide open on the baseline, she's gonna knock it down.
Well, she is hot out of the chute here with 11 points. 11 of Idaho's 18 points.
Into the lane for Southern Utah, missed shot, missed opportunity, but an offensive rebound. And again, here comes Richardson trying to create something of her own. She's pretty much trying to single-handedly keep Southern Utah in this game. She's got all seven of Southern Utah's points in this game. Cardenas will inbound as Southern Utah holds on to possession. Cardenas into the lane, pull-up shot is up and no good. Back iron, had a good look, just couldn't get it to fall.
No one on the offensive boards for Southern Utah.
Taylor Pierce lays it up and in, going coast to coast. The 5'7" sophomore, averaging 12 points, gets a big shot as Idaho again continuing to push the lead. A three-point shot is missed by Richardson, but she's fouled and she'll have a chance to go to the free throw line. But right now, it's all Vandals in this game.
You know, you take a look at Taylor Pierce. We got kind of cut short on our pregame visit, but she hit the game-winning three in overtime against Weber State in the Big Sky tournament last year and finished that game with 15 points. It's important to note that both Taylor Pierce and Michaela Ferenz are sophomores this year, so those big plays were made as freshmen.
It's an incredible run. This Idaho team firing on all cylinders early on. 20-7, Idaho up on Southern Utah, right here on WatchBigSky.com.
What makes a Big Sky champion? Is it toughness? Is it competitiveness? Is it community? Is it achievement? Or is it sportsmanship? All these attributes live in the heart of a Big Sky champion. We're the Big Sky Conference.
4:47 left to go here in the first quarter, and it is all Idaho up to an early 20-7 lead over the Thunderbirds of Southern Utah. Scott Gerard and Krista Redpath. Now, Krista, in our first game we saw, it looked like Sacramento State was going to run and hide from Weber State. Weber State was able to reel them back in and win in overtime. So I don't want to call this one in danger for Southern Utah, but they certainly need to get the ship righted pretty quickly.
They do. It seems like the only rhythm they've found is with Jessica Richardson, who's at the free throw line now with 8 points. But in all honesty, you can't, I mean, it's really hard to beat a team that's shooting almost 80% from the floor, which is what Idaho's shooting right now.
Yeah, Krista Richardson was fouled on a three-point shot, made one out of the three. So our lead is now 12 for Idaho, 20-8. As another three-point shot from the right wing is missed by Idaho. Fight for the rebound down low, and they're going to get Southern Utah tagged up on a foul. So Idaho will inbound underneath their own basket. Long, deep inbound pass over to Ferenz. Ferenz, who's been kept pretty quiet, but she's not going to be quiet for long. Misses that free layup, and here comes Southern Utah going the other way. Ferenz is explosive, and she's going to make her presence felt in this game eventually. Layup up and good, as Jessica Richardson is essentially trying to single-handedly keep Southern Utah in this game.
She's not getting a lot of help on the offensive end, but she's doing what a senior wants to do in possibly their last game of the season.
All 10 points have come courtesy of Richardson. Left wing three missed, and here comes Southern Utah with a chance to cut more into this lead of Idaho. Coast to coast layup not missed. And the rebound is brought down by Idaho. Bridget O'Neill into the ball game. And she pulls down the board, but they're going to get a foul down low. Bridget O'Neill, who is essentially kind of works in and out of the starting lineup for the majority of the year. She is a tremendous player at 6'1" out of Spokane, Washington. Inbound pass goes out of bounds. The third time Southern Utah's turned the ball over early here in the first quarter, and so Idaho gets the ball off the turnover. Carly Wilson running the point for the Vandals.
Again, if you're this Idaho team, big team of runs, you like where you're at offensively, but you want to keep this momentum going.
Yeah, Idaho's been pretty quiet offensively. Missed shot and then a steal by Cardenas. Cardenas with a nice pass, but it's stolen away by Idaho. And Brooke Riley with the thievery. She hands it over to Carly Wilson. Wilson has her pocket picked, and Cardenas gets to the rim and is fouled. She'll go to the free throw line. So a couple of missed opportunities from Idaho that's trying to push this lead, and Southern Utah's not going away.
Cardenas did a good job with her body control there and was able to sneak away that steal and take it to the hole and get to the line.
So Cardenas makes the free throw, and that's a key shot for her because that is the first time somebody other than Jessica Richardson has scored for Southern Utah.
And they do have other weapons, and so it's just been getting people involved offensively. However, you know, just by looking at their record of 2-16 in conference, their only 2 conference wins, however, were big ones, one at Eastern and one at Portland State. They've struggled with consistency, Scott.
Yep. Cardenas makes both free throws, 20-12, 8-point lead for the Vandals. Swinging over to Brooke Riley. Riley wants to drive. Instead, she's going to kick it back over to Taylor Pierce. Back up top to Wilson.
Shot clock down to 10.
Hands it over to Ferenz. Ferenz has to dish it off right wing. Shot is missed, and they're going to call a foul down underneath. Thought that was a good box out, actually. But they're going to get Southern Utah down underneath. I think Bree Reed kind of working down low for positioning, gets tagged with the foul.
I thought she looked like she had good positioning there.
I did too. Inbound pass, shot up, missed by Idaho, but they'll get to the free throw line. Michaela Ferenz has a chance to push this lead back up to 10. Ferenz named the first team All Big Sky women's team. That announcement coming out late yesterday. Congratulations goes out to her.
She is such a complete player in that, you know, she can shoot the three, but she can also take the ball to the hole. You know, only as a sophomore, the league is going to see more of her over the years. But her emergence as a leader as a sophomore has been a tremendous boost for this Idaho team.
She makes both free throws. She's got 4 points on the night, and Idaho has a 10-point lead, 22-12, with 2:52 left to go here in the first quarter. Cardenas crossing the timeline, looking for a screen, and then it's going to pull it back out. Picked up there by number 21 for Idaho, Ferenz. Cardenas, right wing. Gets it to a player into the lane, shot up, missed once again, and Idaho pulls down the rebound. Bridget O'Neill pulls down the board. Missed shot by Kiana Johnson. Wilson over to O'Neill. O'Neill hands back over to Wilson. Back up top to Pierce.
They like the dribble penetrate kick.
Yep. This time, Wilson goes baseline. Circus shot is missed. Everybody seems like they're down on the court right now, but she's fouled and she'll go to the free throw line.
And that was a bit of a bailout there. It didn't look like a great shot.
So Carly Wilson, as we mentioned, 5'4" senior from Lewiston, Idaho, averaged 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. That's a pretty good season for your point guard. She'll have one more. Lead is now 11, 23-12, with 2:10 left to go.
She can dish the basketball. She's third in the Big Sky with 4.3 assists per game. I always look at the mark of a true fundamentally good basketball team is you gotta have a good passer. You gotta have someone like a Carly Wilson that can deliver the ball.
Yep, great point. 24-12, Idaho leading by 12. Cardenas running the point for Southern Utah. Kiana Johnson into the ball game, trying to post up. Jessica Richardson. Richardson turnaround shot up and good. Richardson's got 12 out of the 14 points for Southern Utah and has really had a tremendous first quarter for the Thunderbirds. Bridget O'Neill, hands over, and they're going to get Agata Trujillo into the ball game. She tried to turn the corner but got an illegal screen, and so Idaho with the turnover hands it back over to Southern Utah.
We've got quite the eclectic mix of players from all over the world on this Idaho team. Australia, Bosnia, Australia, Spain.
Down low, ball goes off the, oh, nope, stays with Jamie Smith, tried to go baseline. Looked like it went off her foot, but they're going to say it went off of a Idaho Vandal player. So Cardenas will inbound underneath their own basket. Yeah, certainly an international flavor for Southern Utah. There's no doubt about it. Cardenas into the lane, puts a shot up, gets it to fall. Good shot by her. 24-16, Southern Utah sticking around, down by 8. Trailed by as many as 14 in this ball game. 1:15 left to go here in the first quarter.
Well, we've seen a resilient Southern Utah team throughout the season. I mean, just giving a credit to how close they have played some of these teams in the Big Sky. I wanted to get into this. You know, they played NAU to overtime, played North Dakota to 3 and 5 in 2 outings, played the Cats to 3, lost to Eastern by 1, lost in double overtime to Idaho State. This is a team that doesn't give up, Scott.
Yeah, yep. And while they may have had some issues with the win-loss record, you know, it would have been easy for this team at several points to kind of throw in the towel. But, you know, look at those you look at those totals, and certainly a team that fights like crazy.
You know, and their 2 wins do come late in the season. And if you're wanting to play your best basketball, late February and March is when you want to do it.
Dari Franson with a face-up jumper, gets it to fall, cuts the lead to 6. Wilson back over to Riley. Riley trying to post up. She goes low. Pull-up shot from the baseline. Can't get it fall. Richardson's there for the rebound. Over to Cardenas. Southern Utah attacking offensively. Cardenas thinks about the pull-up, but she's going to kick it out top to Richardson. Richardson will drive. She'll lay it up, and she'll get it to fall. And it's 24-20, 4-point game for Idaho. At one point led by 12. 24 seconds left to go as Idaho can hold for the last shot.
Richardson has single-handedly keeping this Southern Utah team in the game. She's got 14 of Southern Utah's 20 points.
So here we go. Carly Wilson being matched up by Cardenas. Wilson looking for a screen. 4 seconds left. Idaho finally getting their offense going. Baseline shot blocked away, out of bounds, and that's how the first quarter will end. So Southern Utah great defensively down the stretch. 24-20. It appeared like Idaho was going to run away. Southern Utah was having none of it. You're listening to Big Sky Basketball on WatchBigSky.com.
What makes a Big Sky champion? Is it toughness? Is it competitiveness? Is it community? Is it achievement? Or is it sportsmanship? All these attributes live in the heart of a Big Sky champion. We're the Big Sky Conference.
At the University of Idaho, we believe a good education should be available to everyone. It's at the heart of who we are as Idaho's land-grant university. We work tirelessly to explore ideas that help our community, our farmers, our engineers, and our industries. We research and develop ideas that matter to our state, to our world, and to you. Because an educated society is good for all of us.
Hi, my name is Parker Waldeck. I've spent the last 3 years traveling to over 15 different countries, capturing adrenaline-boosting moments, living my dream as a filmmaker. And it all started with the opportunities I was given at Southern Utah University. Within months of transferring to SUU, I was given access to film school events, travel with sports teams, and leading campus groups, which all combined to give me the experience and confidence that I needed to launch my career as a filmmaker. I'm proof that SUU can take you everywhere.
34-20, Idaho with a 4-point lead over Southern Utah. Scott Gerard, Krista Redpath, is Idaho led by as many as 12, struggled at the end of the first quarter, trying to get something going offensively, has it blocked away, and Southern Utah quickly in transition, wasting no time to try to reset their offense. Richardson, long three, missed. Idaho with the rebound. Carly Wilson has it, long pass, shot up and good. Led Sue Winger beautifully with a touchdown pass that she lays up and in.
Chris Betcher heading into the end of the first quarter was really firing up his girls like, hey, let's go.
And you saw that intensity too at the end of the first quarter. This team was playing really well. Long three on the right wing missed, and Idaho's got it.
Well, Idaho cooled off a little bit, but she can't shoot 80% from the floor and sustain that for too long.
It's a tough number to hold, there's no doubt. Michaela Ferenz, who had 4 points in the first quarter, swings it back. In fact, she's going to get into the lane, decides to kick it off, but she picked up that pivot foot, and they're going to get a nailer with the travel. You know, it's interesting too, before Idaho hit that shot on that layup, they missed their last 7 shots. They were 0 for 7 in their final 7 shots of the first quarter and went the last 2 minutes scoreless, which allowed Southern Utah to cut into that lead. Now they lead, Idaho leads by 6, 26-20. Trying to post up Richardson, who had a great first quarter. She lost the handle though on a pass. They're gonna go jump ball. It'll stay with Southern Utah.
Idaho out offensive program. I mean, John Newley is no stranger to the Big Sky, enters his 9th year with Idaho, and they've experienced a lot of success. WAC champions in 2013.
And this has been a fun one too. This one where we kind of felt like, what was it, 20-7, 20-6, and just felt like, oh boy, Idaho's going to run away with this one. But Southern Utah kept their composure. And you got Jessica Richardson, who put the team on their shoulders, and then suddenly everybody else started to pick up their level of play.
And you know, we did talk about this Idaho team. They can be, you know, difficult to guard because they spread themselves out. They take lots of early shots, or they do a good job finding key shooters. But it is important to note that they have been inconsistent. I mean, they have beat every team in the league other than Northern Colorado, but they do have some losses mixed in there against Montana State. You know, Idaho State, they were swept by this year. So they've had some times where they haven't been able to put together 40 minutes of basketball, and it shows, and Southern Utah's been rattling them.
Southern Utah gets a good look at the bucket, couldn't get it to fall, but the rebound is up and good. And with that, Southern Utah's got their first lead of the game, I believe. I was boxed out a little bit. I believe it was Kiana Johnson who got that pushback. Up and good, and Southern Utah leads 36-34 with the upset in mind. Carly Wilson, though, says not so fast. She drains a 3 from that left baseline. 37-36, Idaho takes the lead back with 1 point lead with 14 seconds left to go. Southern Utah holding for the last shot. Cardenas on the right wing, 8 seconds left, into the lane, has to pick up her dribble. Long 3-point shot is missed, and Idaho pulls down the rebound with 2 seconds left, unable to do anything with it at that point, and that will end our first half. Idaho leads Southern Utah 37-36 in what was really a fascinating first half, and it's a little bit like the Weber State-Sacramento State game, where it felt like Weber State was on its way to, or excuse me, Sacramento State was on its way to blowing out Southern Utah. Weber State. Weber State rallied, came back. Same thing here. Southern Utah hanging in there with Idaho.
Basketball is definitely a game of runs and momentum shifts, and you did see this Idaho team come out strong and command that presence early on, but this Southern Utah team battles. They came back and they had an answer. I mean, Jessica Richardson single-handedly took over part of that game offensively, and I also really like the play of Kiana Johnson, the freshman, who had the big rebound down there and put back. That was a big play for a freshman.
You know, and Cardenas is a point guard, is not being denied, and it's a fun battle between her and Carly Wilson as they're going back and forth, and Cardenas isn't, you know, she's not taking it from anybody, and she's mixing it up with trying to get big rebounds. As Southern Utah is playing with a lot of confidence right now. Could be an interesting second half.
If you're Southern Utah, you're happy where you're at going into going into halftime, just down 1 against a very streaky, can be hot Idaho team.
Idaho leads 37-36. We continue on live from Reno. It's Big Sky basketball action. Second half moments away. You're listening to Big Sky Hoops right here on WatchBigSky.com.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling.
The Big Sky Conference has a new app. Search Big Sky Conference on the App Store and Google Play and download the new free Big Sky Conference app. Watch live conference events, connect with Big Sky social media accounts, and access premium exclusive content. The Big Sky Conference app, now available for free on the App Store and Google Play.
People confuse nice and kind, but they're different. Nice tells you what you want to hear, but kind is honest. This bar is made with cranberries and almonds, so guess what? We call it Cranberry Almond. Give kind a try.
What makes a Big Sky champion? Is it toughness? Is it competitiveness? Is it community? Is it achievement? Or is it sportsmanship? All these attributes live in the heart of a Big Sky champion. We're the Big Sky Conference.
I am J.D. Collins. This season, college basketball officials have continued to enforce the directive to reduce physicality. Coaches, student athletes, and officials have all adjusted to these changes. The net result is an increased pace of play and a more balanced game. Statistically, the game continues to see improvements in scoring, possessions, and shooting percentages. Good luck, and thank you for supporting college basketball.
welcome back to Reno, Nevada. It's the Reno Event Center. As what a first half we had between Southern Utah and Idaho. Scott Gerard alongside Krista Redpath. And this was a game that was all Idaho for the first, 7-8 minutes of this game. And very carefully and very slowly, Southern Utah came back into this game. Took a late lead in the first half, but Idaho came back, hit a big three, 37-36. Let's start with the Idaho Vandals. What did you see out of this team that really jumped out at you?
Well, I saw Idaho come out to a really early, commanding presence. Brooke Riley kind of just took control there. She's so long and lean. Check that out. She's got a nice jump shot, but notice that Idaho keeps the floor spread really well. And she was also assertive on the offensive rebounds. A nice putback by her, but she did cool off. And I have to credit Southern Utah for putting on that defensive pressure and just continuing to dig and climb their way back. We take a look here at Carly Wilson. And that was the one fast break that I think Idaho had. They hit Sue Winger there.
And it was just interesting to watch offensively. You're right, they're so disciplined and they space the court so well that it makes it really easy to get good opportunities like this. But Southern Utah slowly started to figure it out things defensively.
Yeah, Michaela Friends there, you seen her take it to the hole. I mean, they have some veteran players here in Michaela Friends and Taylor Pierce, even though they're sophomores. They did a lot of damage last year in the tournament, and so I don't look to them for them to go away in the second half.
Yeah.
I would think they would come out and get their team ready to play.
On the flip side, though, it was all about Jessica Richardson in Southern Utah in the first half.
Jessica Richardson, I mean, she pretty much took over for a while during the game. You take a look at all of her points. I mean, she has 20 of Southern Utah's 36 points. But she scored from all over, Scott. I mean, she was an inside presence. She has a nice jump shot outside. You see her there taking it to the hole. She adds such a good element. She's hard to guard, is what it is, because she can take the spot-up jumper and she can take to the hole. Yeah, and also, too, one of our favorite players we saw was Rebecca Cardenas, who really started to attack Carly Wilson a little bit there late in the second quarter and felt like, okay, I can take her one-on-one, and that ended up allowing spacing going out because people started to collapse defensively. What a nice feel there, though, as Cardenas knows that Richardson is behind her and that she's really good at that jump shot. That's a good find by your guard. So let's go keys to the game. First, let's start with the Idaho Vandals. If Idaho wants to win this game and advance for a showdown against Eastern Washington, what do they got to do? Well, Idaho is a team of runs. They like to come out and really take it to you offensively. Thinking about this Idaho team and listening to how John Newley coaches, he wants them to take good shots. Yeah. He doesn't want them to throw up one shot, one pass. He wants to have them and have his Idaho team put up good shots. So I think that that's going to be key for Idaho. And also, we'll see how Richardson does in the second half. And she comes out and commands herself on the offensive presence. Idaho could have their hands full. Should be an interesting second half. There's no doubt about it. 37-36. Idaho with a 1-point lead, led by as many as 13. But Southern Utah reeled them back in, folks, and it should be a fun one here in the second half. Keep an eye on Jessica Richardson. By the way, your Big Sky Women's Conference record of points in a game is 39. She's got 20 here in the first half. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, she definitely, I just really like the way she plays, and I like that Chris Betcher just keeps these girls going. Yeah. I mean, Southern Utah could have folded, Scott. They really could have. Many times, yeah. And there were, Idaho just pounces on you, and they were resilient. They kept battling back. Idaho comes in as the 5 seed with a 16-13 overall record, 11-7 in Big Sky Conference play. And by the way, Idaho has won 7 straight games against Southern Utah. Last time these two teams played, March 3rd. In fact, the last time both these teams played, in the regular season, they were against each other, and Idaho won that game fairly easily, 76-61, excuse me. But Southern Utah has proven to be a much better foe in this game, as Richardson once again attacking the glass, couldn't get it to fall, and Idaho corrals a rebound. So you see that Sue Winger is in the starting lineup for Idaho. Jerry McCorkle has 3 fouls, so it looks like John Newley decided to bench her coming out of the half. What a give and go, too. Number 21, Michaela Ferenz lays it up and in, but what a great pass. Perfectly executed. You draw in the defender for the back door, and it's one thing to get it, it's another to execute on it and make the basket. That's a great point.
Cardenas running the point, swings it back over to Brianna Reed. Back over to Cardenas, into the lane, shot up and couldn't get it to fall again. Good look, but it just doesn't drop for Southern Utah. And here comes Carly Wilson going the other way.
Really no one on the offensive glass for Southern Utah.
Ferenz cranks a long three, can't get it to fall. Southern Utah down by 9, 39-36 with 8:51 left to go. That's Cardenas running the point. Cardenas still holding on to it. Swinging over to Bree Reed. Bree into the paint. Again, nothing going there. Over to Franson.
Shot clock down to 9.
Yep, and there goes Idaho with a turnover, forcing the steal, and here comes Carly Wilson.
So this is what this Southern Utah team does at times, is they try to force things. They really try to force getting the ball inside to Jessica Richardson, and that just wasn't there, Scott.
Yeah. Spacing working very well as Carly Wilson hooks up Brooke Wilson, puts up a shot. It misses, but she is fouled, and she gets to the free throw line as Idaho very aggressive here to start this third quarter. First shot up is rims out. She'll have one more. 78, almost 79% free throw shooter too.
I like this. I like the way that Brooke Riley plays. She uses her body, her long arms. She gets after it on both ends of the floor. Misses her free throws here as I'm giving her a nice compliment. Come on, Brooke.
That jinx on you.
Yeah, throw me a bone here.
Cardenas with Southern Utah going the other way. Looking for Richardson. Richardson's going to post up just inside the three-point line. Misses the shot. Cardenas once again mixing it up with Riley on the rebound and tips it away and steals it away. She will not be denied. Love it.
She won't, but honestly, Brooke Riley, not the best to dribble out of that. I mean, I can see she can put the ball on the floor, but you got your guards right there. You got to give it up.
So the steal leads to a bucket and cuts that lead down to 1, 39-38. Ferenz loses the handle on a pass. Stolen away by Jamie Smith. Jamie Smith into the lane. She's going to take it coast to coast. And one.
What a big basket right there for Southern Utah.
Jamie Smith gives Southern Utah the 1-point lead and is a free throw away from pushing it to 2.
It's one thing to take that ball to the hole like that, but to finish in traffic.
Yeah. As Southern Utah, again, every time Idaho throws a punch, Southern Utah takes it and throws one of their own. Makes the free throw, and it's the biggest, actually ties for the biggest lead. Southern Utah had a 2-0 lead to start the ball game. Since then, it's been pretty much all Idaho until Southern Utah has now taken a 2-point lead, 41-39. Pierce handing off to Ferenz. Ferenz into the paint, has a shot blocked away, gets her own rebound, swings it back over. Pierce is going to crank a three and hits it.
And it's pure, and that's what Taylor Pierce does. She is ready to make that shot.
Richardson's going to take a three of her own, and she'll hit it. Actually, she was just inside the three-point line. They'll count it 2. So Southern Utah takes the lead back 43-42.
And we've seen the momentum evenly matched here
throughout
this third quarter.
Pierce over to Winger. She takes she picks up that foot.
It was
Sue
a nice
Winger,
idea.
6'1", redshirt freshman. Kind of lost control of the body for a moment, picked up that foot, and got hammered with the traveling call. So Cardenas, who's been, again, from a stat standpoint, she's got 8 points, but she's really been facilitating this offense, has already dished out 6 assists in this game. Cardenas is going to take a baseline shot, and she hits it.
That is a really nice jump shot there.
And that is the largest lead for Southern Utah at 45-42. 6:22 left to go here in the third quarter, and Idaho wants to talk about it. John Newley says this is not the way we anticipated this game going, and brings his troops over to talk this one over.
He is trying to find the hot hand over there. He's got to find someone who is going to make some shots. Southern Utah.
45-42. 45-42 is our score. 6:19 left to go. You're listening to Big Sky Basketball on WatchBigSky.com.
What makes a Big Sky champion? Is it toughness? Is it competitiveness? Is it community? Is it achievement? Or is it sportsmanship? All these attributes live in the heart of a Big Sky champion. We're the Big Sky Conference.
Welcome back to Reno, Nevada. 45-42 is your score. Hey, El Dorado Resorts, your official hotel partner of the 2017 Big Sky Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. 3 hotels make up the El Dorado Resorts in Reno, with the El Dorado, Silver Legacy, and Circus hosting thousands of rooms, dozens of dining options, and a variety of entertainment options. Go to ElDoradoResorts.com to book your Reno Tahoe getaway today. All right, back here at the Reno Event Center, Idaho now sees themselves trailing Southern Utah 45-42. Pierce out on the left wing. Hands over to Ferenz, and they're going to get a foul as Southern Utah and Bree Reed guarding a little too close defensively.
Jerry McCorkle back into the game for Idaho.
So McCorkle with her 3 fouls, hands over to Pierce. Pierce cranks a long 3, misses it, and guess who's fighting for a rebound? It is Cardenas hooking up with Brooke Riley once again. That's about the 3rd time those 3 have battled for rebounds, and it ends up in a jump ball. Idaho holds on to possession. Ball stolen away off the inbounds, and it's McCardle, or Cardenas, excuse me. She thinks about going coast to coast, instead kicks it out for a long shot just inside the 3-point line as Bree Reed knocks it down, and Southern Utah now leads by 5.
That was the 15th turnover for Idaho, and Southern Utah has been able to capitalize on these turnovers by Idaho, and I think that's our difference maker right now, Scott.
Wilson back over top to Pierce. Pierce to McCorkle. She'll take a 3 from the right wing, hits it. She is kept in check because of foul trouble, has not been able to bend out on the court long, but she makes her presence felt in a big way there.
She was a 2016 preseason All Big Sky selection. Ended up being honorable mention, but she has done a lot for this Idaho team, averaging over 13 points a game. Also a strong 6.5 rebounds a game as well.
McCorkle, as Idaho regains possession, over to number 14, Taylor Pierce. Pierce back up top to Riley. Riley to Pierce. Pierce for 3, gets it. And just like that, a 6-0 run eliminates a 5-point lead for Southern Utah, and Idaho leads 48-47. We talk about how this is a team of runs. Idaho looks like they're about to go on one. 4:40 left to go. Cardenas gets a screen into the lane, takes the shot, and rattles around, won't fall for her. She ties up a rebound once again.
She just comes down with it. I mean, you don't want to tussle too much with Jerry McCorkle. She's a big player.
Yeah.
Cardenas gets in there.
She's done the same with Brooke Riley. That's the 4th time she's forced a jump ball off of a rebound. With that, we take a break. 48-47, Idaho leads by 1 right here on WatchBigSky.com.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling.
I am J.D. Collins. This season, college basketball officials have continued to enforce the directive to reduce physicality. Coaches, student athletes, and officials have all adjusted to these changes. The net result is an increased pace of play and a more balanced game. Statistically, the game continues to see improvements in scoring, possessions, and shooting percentages. Good luck, and thank you for supporting college basketball.
Our score. Idaho leads by 1 with 4:31 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Scott Gerard alongside Krista Redpath as Idaho and Southern Utah, we didn't, there's a lot of people out there that didn't expect this to be much of a game. Southern Utah has very much made it a game with some just scrappy intensity that I think has taken Idaho a little off guard.
Well, in both of the outings during conference play, Idaho has single-handedly done a good job with Southern Utah. And again, the scores indicate that Idaho was in lead and took a commanding lead with Southern Utah. And to see them playing so scrappy and getting after it, they're playing like a team that has a lot to lose out here.
Yep.
I mean, it all starts over at Reno.
Bree Reed hits a shot. Cardenas forces a steal. Southern Utah unable to convert with points, but here comes Idaho going the other way. Southern Utah leading 49-48. Brooke Riley working over to McCorkle. She can't get it to fall, and Cardenas pulls down the rebound.
And you know what they say, it's really hard to beat a team 3 times.
That's a great point. Into the lane, shot up and good. Nice look by Megan Camps, who lays it up and in, and Southern Utah pushes their lead back to 3. They're on a 4-0 run after Idaho went on a 6-0 run. Bree Reed picking up defensively over to Carly Wilson. Wilson back over to Taylor Pierce. Pierce back over to McCorkle. She goes baseline, picked up well there by Richardson. Has to go a cross-court pass over to Wilson. Wilson into the lane, can't get it to fall, but she's fouled by Cardenas.
And you hate to see that. You just work so hard to get that shot clock
With
wound
6
down
seconds,
to 6 seconds, and you bail her out like that. I don't, make her earn that.
By the way, Cardenas working on a triple-double. She's got 10 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds.
Heck of a play, or heck of a game for her.
Carly Wilson makes her first free throw. She'll have one more. Lines it up and knocks it down. 51-50, Southern Utah leads by 1. 3:13 left to go here in the third quarter. Cardenas running the offense. Southern Utah slowing things down here a little bit. Kiana Johnson into the lane, can't get that shot up, out of control, loses the handle, and Cardenas nearly gets another steal, working and fighting. And are they going to get her with a foul or they go jump ball?
Honestly, I think that
Yeah, they got her with a foul.
they did get her with a foul, but it was close to a jump ball. She did get her though, and
Yep.
she's aggressive on the defensive end, but she did reach there.
Yeah, Cardenas nabbed with the foul. Only her second foul, and which is a little surprising with how aggressive she plays. 51-50, Southern Utah leads by 1 with 2:48 left to go here in the third quarter. Wilson loses the handle, goes out of bounds. Turnover. Idaho's got it, or Southern Utah's ball.
Turnovers have been pivotal during this game, and Southern Utah has capitalized on those, but Idaho has turned the ball over way too many times. 17 turnovers, Scott.
Layup blocked away by McCorkle. Fight for the rebound. Up, and McCorkle still has it, and they're going to get a jump ball, and Idaho will have the ball. Both these teams are so aggressive. They're going after loose balls. If there's a ball up out, down on the court, you're seeing 3 or 4 players down there fighting for it.
And I love the way Jerry McCorkle battles.
Yeah.
And she just gets in there, and she works so hard.
So Idaho down by 1 with the ball, left wing. Long 3-point shot, up and good. There you go. Number 21, Michaela Ferenz, long 3-point shot gives Idaho a 2-point lead.
Again, you go to your leaders on the team, and Ferenz is definitely a go-to. That's not an easy shot to make out here, though.
McCorkle just picked up her 4th foul. And it was a little bit of a ticky-tack foul, too. Kind of holding a player that was trying to run through a screen, held on. That's her 4th foul, and she's going to have to sit down for probably a significant amount of time, which means that you're going to see more of Sue Winger back into the ballgame. Cardenas working it around. Long shot from the left wing, can't get it to fall as she dished that off to Bree Reed. Bree Reed missed the jumper, and Idaho with the defensive board. Carly Wilson, nice give and go. Layup and good for Ferenz.
Together we're strong.
Ferenz just doing a good job making timely cuts, but her teammates find her, and she finishes.
Very quietly, Idaho now up by 4. Very methodical. Cardenas pull-up
Together
shot.
we're strong.
Can't get it to fall. She gets her own rebound, though. Of course she
Together.
does. Cardenas is going to pull things out with 25 seconds left on the shot clock.
She gets your hustle award over here.
Yeah.
I think that
Together we're
I think
strong.
Cardenas has a fan.
Oh, big time. Cardenas on
Together
the left
we
wing,
hustle.
trying to post up,
Together we
down low,
sacrifice.
shot up and missed.
That was good defense right there by Sue
Together
Baker.
we
I
work.
would say, you know, you really, as a post player, sometimes you have that tendency to want to swat. And she did a really good job managing her body.
Idaho pulling away. Taylor Pierce, it's a victory. And now Idaho leads by 7, 58 to 51. 50 seconds left to go here in the third quarter as Southern Utah has seen Idaho go on a big run, 10-0 run to be exact. Southern Utah into the lane, shot up, gets it to drop. Bree Reed finally cuts that lead down to 5 after Idaho had gone on a 10-0 run.
Yeah, we talked about it before the game. Idaho is a team of runs.
Yep.
And when they feel it, they are really tough to guard.
15 seconds left to go, and they're going to get Southern Utah. Are they going offensive?
But they are going offensive.
Wow.
And John Newley not happy over there.
Cardenas, yeah, this Cardenas-Wilson matchup has been really interesting to watch. Cardenas tried to pick her pocket, and Idaho fans over on that far sideline wanted a foul. They didn't call it, and then she got in her way, and they called offensive. So Southern Utah has a chance to hold for the last possession. 10 seconds left. Cardenas over to the right wing. Turnaround jumper for Richardson. Can't get it to fall. Idaho's got it. 2 seconds left. A shot from half court will be missed, and that is how it ends here in the third quarter. 58 to 53. Idaho up by 5. Should be a fun fourth quarter coming up next right here on WatchBigSky.com.
Hi, my name is Parker Waldeck. I've spent the last 3 years traveling to over 15 different countries, capturing adrenaline-boosting moments, living my dream as a filmmaker. And it all started with the opportunities I was given at Southern Utah University. Within months of transferring to SUU, I was given access to film school events, travel with sports teams, and lead in campus groups, which all combined to give me the experience and confidence that I needed to launch my career as a filmmaker. I'm proof that SUU can take you everywhere.
At the University of Idaho, we believe a good education should be available to everyone. It's at the heart of who we are as Idaho's land-grant university. We work tirelessly to explore ideas that help our community, our farmers, our engineers, and our industries. We research and develop ideas that matter to our state, to our world, and to you. Because an educated society is good for all of us.
Fourth quarter is upon us, 58-53. Idaho leads by 5 with 9:55 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Should be a fun one. Scott Gerard, Krista Redpath here at the Reno Event Center as Richardson puts up a shot, can't get that one to fall, and Idaho with another big rebound as Brooke Riley and this Idaho team starting to flex their muscles a little bit, coming in as the 5th seed. Layup by Ferenz is missed, but she's fouled and she'll go to the free throw line. As you can tell that John Newley, I think, gave his team the business over there and said, look, you're the 5th seed, let's go up there and act like it.
Well, and I think he also said, quit turning the ball over. Make the easy pass. You take a look, there are 18 turnovers for this Idaho team, which has led to 21 Southern Utah points. So it's one thing to turn the ball over.
Yeah.
It's another to allow Southern Utah to get baskets out of that.
That's a great point. Ferenz will have one more, hits the first one, pushes that lead back to 6, and knocks it down.
I think it's also a credit to Idaho with Jerry McCorkle being in foul trouble. You look at Wilson, Riley, Pierce, and Ferenz all in double figures for Idaho. That makes it tough to guard them because there's many weapons.
Wilson with the steal. She's trying to go coast to coast. She's fouled and she knocks it down.
That's a big play right there. by Carly Wilson.
Layup up and good. After the steal, she'll get the and one, and now she has a chance to push this to a 10-point game.
You know what that was? That was senior leadership right there. That was a senior taking it to the hole and commanding that presence.
And she missed the free throw, but still a really pivotal moment in this game with that steal and the bucket. Southern Utah needs to right this ship, or this could get out of hand in a hurry. Cardenas swings it over into the lane. Shot up, missed, but a foul. Bree Reed's going to get 2 free throws.
And that's what this Southern Utah team has struggled with, is the consistency. They put together good runs and good moments of basketball, but making it cohesive is what the difference in the score is. They just haven't had anyone that can make points.
First shot is up and good. Reed will have one more. Puts that back to an 8-point game. You know, there's been several moments in this game where it kind of felt like, uh-oh, here comes Idaho. They're going to run away with this time. And every time looks like they're going to go on a run, Southern Utah brings them back down to earth. Let's see if it happens here. Second free throw is up and good. 62-55 is our score.
Southern Utah putting on some press here.
Wilson finally inbounds it, gets it over to Pierce. Pierce breaks the double team. Now she's got numbers, but loses the handle on the dribble. Back out to Wilson, and Wilson's going to say, all right, let's just slow this thing down a little bit and reset this offense.
Also, Southern Utah taking some valuable ticks off the shot clock there, having Idaho begin their offensive entry at 18 seconds. However, miscommunication on that for Southern Utah just made it look a little too easy.
You give Ferenz a crease like that, and it's off to the races. Cardenas goes coast to coast as well. She lays it up and in. Back to a 7-point game. 64-57. Pierce bringing the ball down the court. Over to Wilson. Wilson's got 12 points on the night, as well as 4 points and 5 assists. Pierce back to Ferenz, baseline 3. Can't get it to fall. That's a good look for her.
She's
got it again, though,
board there.
on an offensive board. Pierce is going to crank a 3. She misses it. Cardenas with the rebound, and she's off to the races. Does not have numbers, but she's not slowing it down. Picks up the ball, hands it to Reed. Reed misses the shot, and Idaho's there for the rebound, but Cardenas is in there mixing it up. And they're going to go, again, a tie ball, or a jump ball, and Idaho has possession.
Southern Utah looking a little rushed and out of sorts on the offensive end.
In fact, I think that coaching staff feels that as well. They're going to take a timeout. 64-47, 7:56 left to go. Both starting point guards, Wilson and Cardenas, have played every second of this game.
What a matchup between those two. I love seeing the battling that's going on. I haven't agreed with every foul that has been called out there, but it's really fun to see the competitive
This
nature
season,
of those two.
college basketball officials have continued to enforce the directive to reduce physicality. Coaches, student athletes, and officials have all adjusted to these changes. The net result is an increased pace of play and a more balanced game. Statistically, the game continues to see improvements in scoring, possessions, and shooting percentages. Good luck, and thank you for supporting college basketball. I am J.D. Collins. This season, college basketball officials have continued to enforce the directive to reduce physicality. Coaches, student athletes, and officials have all adjusted to these changes. The net result is an increased pace of play and a more balanced game. Statistically, the game continues to see improvements in scoring, possessions, and shooting percentages. Good luck, and thank you for supporting college basketball.
64-57 is our score. Idaho leads by 7 with 7:56 left to go. Scott Gerard, Krista Redpath, as we see this Idaho team trying to pull away here. And Southern Utah's been fighting like crazy all game long. Do they have one more run left in them to try to get this thing back to even and try to take a lead again? It's been a heck of a battle, and now the question is, Southern, Chris Betcher's over there talking to his team, saying, do we have one more run left in us, because we got to get this thing back even again.
And you just haven't seen this Southern Utah team roll over. They just haven't all year. If you look at their scores, and their 2 wins coming late in the season, beating Portland State in late February, and then obviously the big win at Eastern Washington just last week. This Southern Utah team is resilient.
Great drive up and good. Brooke Riley, you really like her body
She is
control.
tough. I like the way she can take it to the hole. She's got the spot-up jumper. She's become, to me, she just is having a complete game on both ends of the floor.
Bree Reed lays it up and in, cuts that lead back down to 7. Again, Idaho trying to run away, and Southern Utah makes big shots, but they've got to get stops on the other end. And right now, offensively, Idaho's in a bit of a groove.
Idaho's just proving to be too much, too many weapons.
Yeah, that's a good point. Ferenz over to Riley. Riley gets, she's going to take the long 3 and hit it.
Brooke Riley is
Wow.
feeling it.
With range.
16 points. She averages 7.5. She has been a difference maker in this game in terms of energy and the timeliness of her shots. If you think about it, Scott, the runs that Idaho has made have all revolved around Brooke Riley.
Yeah, Jamie Smith is going to go to the free throw line, but you know, it looked like she was a couple steps behind that three-point line. I didn't think she'd line up and try to crank that 3. In fact, it looked like Taylor Pierce was coming around the corner off of the screen, but she's like, you know what, I'm feeling pretty good right now. Let's knock this down. Jamie Smith misses her first free throw. She'll have one more. Jessica Richardson is checking back into the ball game, and that's going to be key for Southern Utah if they want to make this big push. Jessica Richardson, by the way, is worth noting. She had 20 points in the first half. She's been held to just 2 points in the second half.
Again, I think that was part of John Newley's plan at halftime. Hey, stop letting her get the ball so easy and making shots. The problem with Southern Utah, though, is they haven't had a lot of balance. So they've got Richardson with 22 points, and they have Reed and Cardenas, but they haven't been able to find that spurt, that offensive spurt that they really needed.
Cardenas gets a steal, quickly going the other way. Southern Utah trailing this game by 9. A reverse layup up and good.
Cardenas with the tough left hand.
For Cardenas, that's her 12th point. She's got 8 rebounds and 7 assists. Wilson, who has been a fun point guard battle going back and forth between those two, has the ball. Ferenz holds onto it, back to Winger, back to Pierce, or Ferenz. Ferenz with another 3, misses it, and Richardson pulls down the rebound. Southern Utah quickly. Layup up and good. Again, fighting for everything. They're on a 5-0 run, and right now it's a 5-point game, 69-64, 5:55 left to go.
And Bree Reed just taking it coast to coast. She was on a mission there to take it to the hole.
Ferenz, back over to Winger. Winger's had to play a lot of minutes in this game. Over to Carly Wilson. Back over to Pierce. Pierce gets a screen, sets up, goes into the lane against Richardson, kicks it over to Wilson. Wilson drives baseline, and does she step out? Or did they get a foul? I think we got a foul underneath the basket. So a blocking call against Southern Utah.
That's tough. They had the shot clock down to 5.
It's a lot of times they've been those late calls that have bailed both of these teams out.
And that just gets the reset for Idaho. You work so hard on defense, and then you have the foul with 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
Inbounds play to Ferenz. Ferenz misses the shot, and Southern Utah's there for the rebound. Here comes Cardenas, quickly going the other way. Southern Utah down by 5. Passes it out, but it's stolen away from Wilson, who is trailing on the play, and Cardenas never saw her.
I think she thought she had more room there.
So Wilson working around a screen, tries to go baseline on Cardenas, pulls it back out to Ferenz. Ferenz is going to drive against Richardson, up and fouled. She'll go to the free throw line. She's really quick with that first step.
She really is. You just can't say enough about Ferenz. I mean, she's 5'10", long and lanky, averaging over 17 points a game.
Idaho's been on a 2-minute scoring drought, which just ended with that free throw. And with that free throw, Ferenz is now at 20 points for the game on 7 of 15 shooting. She'll have one more free throw. Keep an eye. There's a couple players you want to watch as far as foul trouble goes. We've talked about McCorkle. Richardson also dealing with 4 fouls in this game. And also Doman's got 4 fouls for Southern Utah.
Richardson's going to come out, which is not good for this Southern Utah team. They need her on the floor. I think Chris Betcher decided to give her a breather here. 5 minutes is a lot of time left in the game.
71-64, 7-point game. Long shot up and missed badly by Southern Utah. Fight for the rebound. It's going to end in a jump ball. It'll stay with Southern Utah as Pierce and Cardenas fought for that loose ball. So Cardenas will inbound underneath her own basket. Looking for somebody to come around on a curl play. Can't find anybody. Finally gets it to Bree Reed. Reed's going to take that baseline shot and misses it. And Idaho comes down for the rebound.
Lots of hands all over those balls. You got to be strong coming down with those rebounds. Stake your territory.
Ferenz picked up by Reed. Idaho slowing down a little bit offensively with a 7-point lead. Ferenz over to Riley. Riley looks to hand it to Pierce, but she's going to keep it herself. Puts a shot up from the baseline, gets it to go.
That is tough.
Brooke Riley starting to take over this ball game. She only averages 7.5 points a game, but she's got 18 on this one.
And that's what you hope. You hope you play your best basketball when you're in Reno.
Tierra McDonald shoots, misses, rebound, brought down by Wilson, and Wilson's foul.
Talk about the battle of these point guards. They haven't come off the floor.
I know.
We talked about. They still haven't come off the floor.
Yep. And I don't anticipate you're going to see him coming off anytime soon in crunch time.
But that's a tough pace to keep up.
Yeah.
Running the point.
Crazy. Southern Utah trailing Idaho 73-64. Looked like we thought we had a timeout there, but Southern Utah comes back out after a quick conversation with Chris Betcher. And Wilson's going to have herself a couple free throws.
And Idaho moves into the bonus here.
For Wilson, she's got 5 rebounds. She's also dished out 5 assists. She's had a nice night, and again has played every minute in this ball game. And misses the second free throw. 10-point game. Southern Utah trailing Idaho. Really quickly down the court, Southern Utah misses a gimme, misses another one on an offensive rebound, and finally he's going to kick it back out and try to reset things. Reed wants to drive, takes a shot from just inside the three-point line. It's a 2, and cuts that lead down to 8.
You know, that resilience, that nice rebound by Dari Franson, the 6'1 sophomore, allows that shot to even be possible.
Yeah. Ferenz back up to Wilson. Wilson to Riley. And again, Idaho kind of content to slow things down here a little bit, but now they've got to hurry up with 10 seconds. McCorkle, who's back out on the court, loses the handle. Ball goes off her knee out of bounds, and Southern Utah's got it off of the turnover.
The Southern Utah team just doesn't go away.
74-66. Into the ball game, Skylie Doman checking back into the ball game. And I believe Richardson's back in as well. So both those players with 4 fouls. Cardenas picked up by Ferenz, over to Richardson. Richardson's going to drive, pulls up, falls down, misses the shot, tried, asked for the call, didn't get it. And here comes Wilson, quickly going the other way.
Seemed a little off balance when she took that shot.
Riley back over to Wilson, back over to Ferenz. Ferenz is nice because she can play the point, you know, not only she can play multiple positions. Drives, kicks it over to Wilson for 3, and Wilson hits it.
Threes by Carly Wilson.
Pushes the lead back to 11, 77-66, largest Idaho lead since the first half. Bree Reed, she'll take a 3 of her own, misses it, and Idaho now has complete control of this ball game. With 2:25 left to go, the Vandals lead by 11. Southern Utah's thrown everything they've had at Idaho, but it looks like the Vandals right now are in a good position to try to win this ball game.
People say
Wilson
knowledge is
almost
power,
loses the handle on a bad pass,
and they have a point.
Rebecca Cardenas forces the jump ball once again.
We also have to remember Rebecca.
It's what you do that counts.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about her for a minute.
What you do counts.
What was it? She's been all over the floor.
It's people.
That's pretty good to keep up with Carly Wilson, the senior.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a freshman up against a senior, too. Wilson inbounds. It's stolen away by Southern Utah. Southern Utah trying to go coast to coast, loses the handle, falls down. There's a foul as Doman stole the ball, and now she's going to go to the free throw line. 2:07 left to go. Idaho leading by 11. Southern Utah still fighting for every little inch, trying to keep this game as close as possible. So we'll see if Doma can hit a couple big free throws here. And no free throws. You're going to say it was before the shot.
Yeah, it was before the shot. And looking at the foul situation, I wasn't quite sure what they were doing there.
All right.
Idaho with only 3 fouls.
Reed over to Richardson. Richardson pull-up shot inside the three-point line, knocks it down.
That was pretty nice. I mean, she had a hand. Sue Lair had a hand in her face.
77-68. Idaho with the ball. Now seeing Southern Utah go with the full-court press. And we got ourselves a foul. As Cardenas trying to get in there and trying to make anything happen. She's going to have a fun career at Southern Utah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch her. I think Southern Utah needs 1 to 2 more scorers that can come in and sustain, you know, especially with losing Jessica Richardson to graduation. You're going to have to find some go-to players. But again, I just like that they don't give up.
McCorkle comes back into the ball game. This is one that obviously she's only got 5 points. She's only played 11 minutes. I anticipate that when Idaho, when they most likely win this ball game, take on Eastern Washington, McCorkle's going to have a bigger say in that game after dealing with some foul trouble in this one. But you're right, you bring up a good point. Idaho is probably going to win this game even without one of their better players having any kind of impact on this game. Cardenas into the lane for Southern Utah. Missed shot, out of control. They're going to go offensive. 79-68. Idaho leads by 11 with 1:22 left to go. And Idaho will inbound underneath the Southern Utah basket. Fun game.
We just had
Richardson
fouled out.
Yep, 5'11" senior from Kaysville, Utah. Ferenz is going to lay it up and in on a gimme off a long inbounds, 81-68 with 13 points. Southern Utah close to losing the handle on that play.
And Skyline.
An interesting people.
Southern Utah has a shot blocked away. That's
The
Dari
city is
Francis
your
had
studio,
kind of a
your
struggle
living
in this
lab.
game.
Oregon is your
Came
study
in averaging
and your
12.8
playground.
points a game. As
At
Southern
Portland
Utah
State,
throwing
you
everything
tell your own
at,
story.
You build
at
your
Idaho
own
from a
stage.
press
You take your
standpoint.
best
Idaho
ideas
handles
to the
it nicely.
streets. You let the world see
Nice
who you
defensively
are.
by
And-
Slinger, too.
Yeah. Wilson back to Ferenz. Back to Wilson. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Idaho's content to just run this thing out. Wilson has it stolen away, though, from Southern Utah. Cardenas swings it back over to Bree, who misses the three-point shot. It's going to go out of bounds, and Idaho will have the ball and a 13-point lead with just 29 seconds left to go.
John Newley wants a timeout here. One thing Idaho is going to have to clean up against this Eastern Washington team is those turnovers. 22 on the game right now.
I mean, we talk about Carly Wilson, and she's had a nice night, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. She does have 7 turnovers in this ball game, though.
Yeah, she does. And I think that's been one thorn in this Idaho's side during this game, and why they have not been able to just run away with it is the turnovers, and then Southern Utah being able to capitalize on that. So Idaho has struggled with that, and they will have to figure that out before they play Eastern Washington. You know, taking a look at Eastern Washington going ahead, Delaney Hodgins, who I think is as complete of a player that the Big Sky has. Love the way that girl plays, and she reminds me of a Michaela Ferenz, the two of them battling. So that should be a really awesome matchup that I'm looking forward to.
So Southern Utah, you mentioned it, and we should have seen this coming from this team. Look, record-wise, they were 2-14 in conference play. It wasn't a great season, but man, they fought like crazy every step of the way. And it's not surprising that they came out and pretty much handled every haymaker Idaho threw at them, and for the most part handled it well. Now they're going to lose this game, but if you're Chris Beecher, the Southern Utah team, you can't feel too bad about your performance.
You got to just take on this and build. You know, you're a young program, and you got to take this experience and know that you competed and try to build on it.
All right, so Idaho will inbound with 30 seconds left, 29.5 to be specific. And they lead by 13 as we wait to get things sorted out here. and get things situated. Chris Beecher, who, I think we've been thinking all along, has got this team close to turning the corner there at Cedar City.
Third year. You look at John Newley, he's been with Idaho for 9 years. Takes some years to build a program.
Ferenz trying to pass it off. They're going to get nailed with a foul, and so she'll go to the free throw line. She ends up with 23 points on the night, 8 of 16 from the field, and played 38 minutes. Now, Wilson and Pierce both played all 40 minutes in this ballgame. Cardenas is just fouled out. She's going to be credited with playing all 40 minutes. Well, probably 39, considering that she fouled out with 30 seconds left. But she gets a nice ovation from a lot of Southern Utah fans that are in attendance. Ferenz makes her first free throw. She'll have one more. Things got really quiet in this arena all of a sudden. Second free throw is up and good.
They did.
83-68, 15-point game.
It's nice having that band down there, though, to offset it.
Yeah. So Southern Utah will run things out here and go home with a loss and get set for the 2017-2018 season. Richardson puts the shot up, can't get it to fall. Idaho rebounds, and that should do it. With 5 seconds left, Idaho is going to escape a win. Now, when it's all said and done, it's going to say 15-point spread, but this game felt a whole lot more closer than 15
points. It really did. It's basketball, and I don't want to even sound like a broken record through this tournament, but it is a game of momentum shifts and runs, and it's something that this Idaho team capitalizes on, are those offensive runs, and they were just too much for this Southern Utah team. Very balanced attack. Wilson, Riley, Pierce, Ferenz, all in double figures. It'll be really interesting to talk to John Newley to see how he plans to clean up the turnovers heading into Eastern Washington, but you want to celebrate this win today because it's big to just even get one.
It really is, and when you look at a situation like this and you look at what Southern Utah had up against them, I thought they handled themselves well. I thought they played well in this game. Unfortunately, though, there was just too much. The depth, the athleticism of Idaho, you can really see that this team's special, and frankly, the Eastern Washington-Idaho game should be a lot of fun.
It should be a lot of fun here. I think we have John Newley coming over here, wandering over. Can you come around, John?
We'll let you hand over the headset to him. But
be the first one to congratulate him.
As Idaho gets the win, again, final score in this one, it's a 15-point spread, but as we mentioned, it really didn't feel like a 15-point spread because Idaho really played up against a team that came out fighting, that really made them work for everything in this ball game. And John Newley, the head coach of Idaho, kind enough to join us. And Coach, congratulations on the win. I know these are never easy in these situations, and Southern Utah threw everything they had at you.
Man, they absolutely did. I thought they played fantastic basketball today. Chris does such a great job with that team, man. They're hard to prepare for. Richardson was out of her mind, and he had them ready. That's absolutely for sure. This back-to-back thing is a little stressful.
So Richardson had 20 points in the first half. You were able to slow her down a little bit in the second half. Was there an adjustment there?
We just put somebody different on her. McCorkle was in the foul trouble anyway, and we thought Sue Winger with her length might be able to do something, but we started out with Brooke Riley on her. And I challenged Brooke at halftime. I said, somebody has got to stop this girl. Who wants it? Brooke, you got it. And she said, I got it. And she did a great job.
You had a heck of a point guard battle between these two point guards. They got after each other pretty good.
Yeah, they did, man. I tell you what, Carly, that's the way she plays. And their kid's lightning quick. And I told her when she shook my hand when she fouled, I said, man, you were fantastic today.
Yeah. Some of the highlights from this game as we take a look, and actually, there were so many players that came up with big moments. I really thought, and as you look at Brooke Riley, I thought Brooke Riley played really, really well in this game, looking for opportunities, and